Hello everyone and welcome back to JeremyTiki Plays Sonic 2. In this episode, we're going to be playing Metropolis Zone. So this stage introduces a couple of neat new mechanics. Some of which I'll have to get familiar with myself again. It's been a long time since I've played this stage. Alright, so right off the bat, we're introduced to this new mechanic. And a nice safe enemy. So right here, you could see the rings above it if you jump. So obviously you know there's a way to get up there, so you're kind of standing here seeing how high you can jump, and boom, kicks you up here right away. Entices you to take the box, and then an enemy explodes right beside you. Nice and safe, you can see how the enemy works, how the new mechanic works, and it's no real danger to you at all. We're also introduced to this nice new mechanic, which is utilized a lot more and a lot more effectively in the next game. But again, they're introducing all of these things in ways... See, now that one was a little bit more... It could have done damage to you, but also just gave you a shield. So even if it did do damage to you, it's not really going to hurt you, if you know what I mean. It'll take your shield back away, sure, but you're not going to lose your rings. So like I said, it's all about introducing new mechanics in a nice, safe way. Now here, even if you didn't play around with the previous steam poppers, I don't even know what these things are called, but if you didn't play around with them, it'll still teach you how to use them, because obviously you need to go up here, but there's only one way to get up. So like I said, this game is is just perfect in the way it introduces new mechanics. See, and now it's starting to speed up the learning process. You learn about something and you immediately have to deal with it. If you don't deal with it quick enough, you get punished for not dealing with it. Oh, see, like that. The game's assuming, you've made it... Don't get hit. You've made it this far in the game, you have to be at least a semi-competent gamer, and it's going to kind of test your limits and see how well you can play the game. So this is the first, what I would consider to be hard stage in the game, because it immediately introduces new mechanics to you like this, and expects you to understand how they work and how to work with them. Like this could immediately kill you if you weren't paying attention to the previous one. If you just hopped on and started running one way, it would kill you, because it would crush you between the spikes and that. Same with this, you have to understand how to control the gear to not get hit by that enemy. So it starts immediately throwing new mechanics at you, expecting you to understand how those mechanics work after only a short introduction to them, as well as being able to master and work with those mechanics quickly after being shown. Like I said, this is the first difficult stage in the game, and that's mainly because of that. It introduces new mechanics and wants you to work with them now. Outside of that, this stage is incredibly intelligent in the way it introduces stuff to you. It introduces it in a way where it punishes you quickly, but it's also extremely fair about how it punishes you. A lot of games can get kind of unfair in how they ramp up the hardness. Instead of like most games where it just adds, more HP to enemies or more defense to enemies, the enemies don't really change in this game. They're the same level of difficulty the entire time. But how well you react to them is what gets harder. They put the enemies in a little bit more trickier places to deal with, and they add in new mechanics, which the mechanics are harder to deal with, but not the enemies. What makes the enemies difficult to deal with is how well you understand the mechanics of the game this far. As long as you understand the mechanics great, you have no problem. But if you, cheated your way through and you don't understand how the mechanics in the game works, then you have a little bit more of a problem. I have no idea where I'm going, actually. Okay. I might have gotten lost. Okay, no, I guess this is where we're supposed to go. Oops. Okay, we're going this way now. That works for me. I'm happy with going this way. Okay. So now we're this way. Yeah, there you go. And that's the main draw of this stage. It's the first, like I said, I can't remember the name of it now, but the one that had the stage that has the lavas and the dinosaur in it. That's the first real test it gives you. Now this is where I would say the game actually begins. This set of stages here. Because like I said, it doesn't hold your hand. The other stages, you know, they hold your hand and they're gentle with you in the way they teach you mechanics. This one isn't like that. This one shows you the mechanic, and it's like, alright, you got the mechanic, you should understand how it works now, deal with it. Just like with the lava. Oh shoot. Lava was introduced in the previous stage, and it expects you just to understand how it works now. Oop. See? Perfect. Like this enemy, clearly, you know, I'm sitting here talking about how it expects you just to learn the mechanic quickly, and clearly I haven't, because I keep getting just wrecked by the grasshopper guy there. And those boxes there are another perfect example. It never explicitly tells you how the boxes work in the game. That they're in a timer and the spike pops out. But it expects you at this point in the game to understand, you know, up until this point, everything else that's been spiky is bad for you, so clearly that will be as well. Just like these gear things. This is teaching... Ooh. It's all about the momentum mechanic. The faster you go, the slower the gear will slow down at the end. So if you're running full speed and there's spikes right above you, you cannot stop that gear immediately. You can only stop it as fast as your momentum will allow you to stop it. So it's all kinds of little kind of... How do I get in there? Okay. All kinds of like little things like that make this stage interesting. Because, like I said, it's really testing you and seeing how well you've understood the game up until this point. Except for Tails, who can walk on air. Interesting. But as long as you've understood the game well up until this point, you'll be fine. Like I said, I think this is just really excellently done game design. Ooh, because of this. Because of things like this. And it's trying to teach you not to just run headfirst into stuff because you get put back in your place. And I never learned that lesson in any game I play. And just because I'm playing the game and explaining all these mechanics and seem to understand and that I seem to know what I'm talking about, don't expect that I'm any better at this game than probably a 12-year-old, because I'm clearly not. I've been showing that over and over again. Ooh. Alright. I think that's the first time I haven't got hit by one of those grasshopper guys. I was hoping that might be the second time, but clearly not. Hey! One more time I haven't got hit by the grasshopper guys. Oopsie. Oh god. Okay, well, I messed that up really bad. And see, like I said, it's very forgiving. Because as you saw there, it killed me. I mean, it put me down there and it killed me. Well, I put myself down there and I died because I didn't get out of it quick enough. But it gave me an extra life because I messed up. So even now, even though this is one of the last stages in the game, it's still... the game's still very forgiving in how it, and how you play with it. It still gives you additional life for traps that are particularly hard, like that one. So it's certainly never unfair at any part. Which, like I said, I think is a cornerstone of the good game design that the original Sonic team had, teaching you how to use the mechanics without actually teaching you how to use the mechanics. Without holding your hand to use the mechanics, I should say. And making sure the levels are hard, but not unfair. Oh, well, no, I want the shield. Ah, shit. Oh, well, I got the shield. Hell's that dick? Okay, at least those things come back. And immediately lose the shield. I'm so good at this game, guys. So good at this game. Believe it or not, I'm actually significantly better at Sonic 3. Like I said, this game was one I mainly played when I was a kid. So here's another good example. It kind of tests to make sure you understand how the spin dash mechanic works again. Because you have to spin to get up there, and you have to understand how the mechanic works to jump off of things to get onto the platform. Like I said, this is another really good test to make sure you... Am I really only on the first stage? Oh no, this stage has 3 acts, okay. But it's a stage that really tests you to make sure you understand how all of the mechanics work before it lets you go forward. And this is one of the most perfect examples for this, because it introduces mechanics, throws them at you quickly, and expects you to adapt fast. God damn it. And it clearly, when you don't, it expects you to get angry, just like I am. Well, I'm not really angry, just disappointed in myself. Just like I'm sure many of my viewers, my spouse, and my mother is, at how terribly I do with this game. Alright, well. Great, now they're on the fucking ceiling. I have a hard enough time with those guys, and now they're putting them on the ceiling. But anyways, there's not really much else to say about this level. I mean, I've pretty much said as much high praise as I can give it. It's a wonderfully intelligent design. Okay, and you still can't spin dash through that anyways, like I thought. It's a wonderful, intelligently designed level, and it's perfect for where you're at in the game now. It expects you to know and understand all of the mechanics in the game, while at the same time being slow and fair enough that even if you're not like the greatest gamer in the world, you can adjust yourself for the mechanics. Like I said, it might just be the fanboyishness of me, of this kind of stuff, but I really think this is one of the best designed games there is. It looks like we're gonna have to wrap up about here anyways, guys. It's been about 11 minutes now. So if you like everything so far, make sure to join me. We're getting near the end of the game now. Not as much gameplay commentary. Not as much mechanics commentary, but more gameplay. So if you liked everything up until now, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.